Well, welcome to our ship tour of the Sun Princess.
Yes, we show you all the unique places throughout this whole beautiful ship.
Yeah, Sun Princess is the newest ship of the Princess Fleet, and we are on it for 7 days in the Caribbean. It is inside the first month of the ship sailing in North America.
Yes, and there's already been changes from when it was released in the Mediterranean, so we're going to check out all those changes for you and see what this ship is like.
For sure, we're going to go floor by floor, and on the right side of the screen, you're going to see a little bit of map with a little Canadian maple leaf. Follow on the leaf and see where we are in the ship. We will describe and show you what we find.
There's a lot to explore here. It's a big, beautiful ship, so let's check it out.
Let's go. Sun Princess time. Okay, so we are going to start today's ship tour down on deck 6. There is a deck 4, and down there you find the medical facilities. You also find the area to get on and off the ship when you're at port.
They've called it the landing, and it's done up a lot nicer than most that we've ever seen on Princess.
And then you move up from deck 4 to deck 5. Then the only thing that's on deck 5 really to see is part of the spa, because it's a 2-level spa. Other than that, it's just cabins on deck 5. That's why we're here on deck 6 to start the tour here. Deck 6 now in the aft of the ship, and we are at the Soleil dining room. And this is the dining room where you can find breakfast and you can find lunch as well during sea days. You can move forward here. There's a whole bunch of cabins, but then you go forward to that, and we've got some guest services and other things to show you here. Okay, we are here in the brand new guest services. This is the new concept on the Sun Princess.
Yeah, so this is midship, deck 6, and this is a circular room where guest services, there are counters around. The biggest complaint that I have about this is that you have to line up to get in here out in front of the elevator bank. So when it's busy at guest services, embarkation day, and near the end of the cruises, you can't even get to the elevators because the lines are so big, and you're sort of outside and you can't even see whether there's room for you to come in. So it looks pretty when you're in here, but it's not very functional in my opinion.
Okay, we are deck 6 midship. We are at the Lotus Spa.
Yes, this is where you're going to find your spa. It is a 2-level spa. You can do everything from treatments to hair to their therapy area here in the spa.
There's also you can get like a day pass, and you can go to the thermal suite as well here, where there is a hot tub, philosophy pool, and heated loungers, and all the usual stuff you'd find at a Princess Spa. Okay, we were all the way forward on deck 7, and this is the lower entrance to the Princess Theater, or they call it the Princess Arena.
That's right. So just outside of the Princess Arena, you're going to find the Neon Grove Club, which is a tweens club. It's kind of a unique location. I've never seen one of these sort of situated right here, but yes, through those doors. But you will see they have ages and all kinds of activities here specific, and there's different age clubs throughout the ship.
We are here at Good Spirits at Sea, and this is a good news story.
Ooh, we really enjoyed this version of the Good Spirits at Sea. They do great performances here. They have it closed off, so you're not getting the noise of the piazza that you get at other ships where you can't take part in what's going on in here. So we really like this. It's a quiet venue with a great show. The mixologists on board were just phenomenal, and we really enjoyed this spot throughout our voyage. So much so that Mr. Canuck got involved in one of the shows one night and was pulled up and helped make a drink with one of the mixologists.
Yeah, well, the premise of Good Spirits at Sea is that it is a bar that represents drinks from around the world, and they even have little shows and they have little even visual videos that talk about traveling to destinations to learn about all these unique ingredients. And then the mixologist shows you how they all come together and make drinks.
It's a really fun place to hang out and try a new drink that you may have never heard of before. There's lots of drinks that we had never heard of before that we tried them and thought, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yes, nice quiet spot away from some of the other craziness elsewhere on the ship.
So we're here in the Princess Live. This is a multi-use venue that you will find everything from game shows to bingo to live singers, entertainment musicals, to comedian shows.
Yeah, it's been kind of an interesting venue for us. Typically, Princess Live is always packed every single event.
Yeah.
We've done a few events where it's just kind of casual. There's a few people in here. There's lots of space to sit down and enjoy some music.
Yeah, there was standing room only for the comedian shows and one of the trivia shows that we did. So it can get to the point that you can't get a seat, but it's been hit and miss. Sometimes we've had no problems whatsoever.
We are here at the Butcher Block by Dario, I believe.
That's correct. And it is another specialty restaurant. It's $45 a person for the regular menu.
But it's an interesting venue. It is just rows and rows of seating. There are a couple booths near the window, which look like the best seats in the house. If you can get here and get one of those, you're doing well. And beside the Butcher's Block, we have the Gelateria.
That's right. So you get fresh gelato here. That is an upcharge unless you have one of the packages. You also can get specialty coffee here. So it's another little option if the international cafe is too busy.
That's right across from Princess Live. We are at O'Malley's Irish Pub.
Right, so O'Malley's is one of the casual dining options that you have on Princess. So you can come here for lunch on sea days or dinner every day. Very popular venue, so if you want to eat here, make sure you get here as early as possible. They open at 5 p.m. for dinner. They don't start serving food till 5:30, but the night that we came here, we were here from 5 till 7:45 trying to get our food.
And for most people, this pub actually serves as just a place to stop and have a drink and listen to a little bit of music. There is music that goes on here in the evening, bar service, lots of tables just to have a drink. So it's kind of a mix of people eating and a mix of people having a drink now and then,
At the pub.
which makes it really busy sometimes, because
Yeah.
when you get both things going on at the same time, it's hard to get a table whether you want one or the other.
Exactly.
Compared to other Princess ships that have this venue, this is a larger version. That was one of the problems on the other
On
Princess
Enchanted, we
where
were
it
on.
was very small. It was hard to even get seats, so at least there's more seats available here.
But there's still just standing room only every single night that we've come by. So
It needs to be bigger again on the next ship, I guess. Here on deck 7, we are almost in the Piazza area. We had to stop short and talk to you about our ship tour from here.
it's always loud in there. You wouldn't be able to hear us. Right now they're doing a dance class in there. We've seen everything from Zumba to you name it. It goes on right there in that piazza. So it's a busy spot, which can be good, but it also can be deafening.
Yeah, there always seems to be someone yelling into a microphone. Yes, or music if you're lucky. But
Yeah.
so around here on deck 7 at the Piazza area, you are going to see a Currents Coffee Bar, which is an alternative to International Cafe.
Yeah, it's just a much smaller version and usually hardly any lines. So if you're coming on board and you want that specialty coffee, I would recommend going to Currents as opposed to International Cafe.
And at Currents, also you can get an alcoholic drink in the evening as well. So they don't have all the different fancy cocktails, but you can get a very basic drink, a beer.
I was able to get a Cosmopolitan there yesterday, so that's pretty cool.
And then on the other side of the Piazza here in deck 7, we have Bellini's Bar.
The Bellini's Wine Bar, and they have quite a detailed cocktail list of different drinks that are new to us.
Okay, so there's some interesting new features here in the Piazza as well.
There is.
There's like where we continue the center part, the dance floor, I call it.
Yes.
There's parts of it that actually lift up and down for a show. Mm-hmm. And also to get up on the dance floor from the area that's around the Piazza, there's this slope.
And it's very subtle, so a lot of people miss it. So we've watched people actually fall down and hit their head on the hard floor there. So be mindful. If you're going to go into that area to dance, watch your stepping getting into it. It's very tricky.
And also there is, they put in like aerialists and different type of events. So there's also like a contraption there that they can lift people up and do shows up like you'd see in Cirque du Soleil or like other main theaters where you see that type of activity. That's also been built into the Piazza as well.
Yeah, it is.
So overall, we have found the Piazza very busy. They've put so much here, like they've made it bigger, they've added seating, but they've also added more events here than they've ever had.
Yeah, it's never just sort of a place you're going to sit down and have a quiet drink. With the exception of if you can get the dual singers that were on with us, they were beautiful and it was very quiet and mellow, lovely 45 minutes with them in the Piazza.
Yeah, it definitely is the focus of the ship now. First side of the Piazza, we've made it across to Catch by Rudy here on deck 7.
So Catch by Rudy is one of the specialty dining restaurants. It's a seafood restaurant. It is $45 per person charge unless you have the premier package.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the venues that actually has been moved since Europe. It was, I believe, located up farther just behind the buffet, and they've moved it down here now to deck 7 right off the Piazza.
Yeah, it's a very nice dining experience. We were in here last night and we had a wonderful time. The food is great.
Yep, and a very similar menu to what it is on the other ships. Couple little tweaks to it, but pretty true to form.
They did add a vegetarian option for you last night that Mr. Canuck really enjoyed. So if you don't like seafood or steak, you can still come here and have a vegetarian pasta option.
With your spouse that does like it. We are further forward here on deck 7, another one of the specialty dining venues that has moved since the original construction of the ship.
Mm-hmm. So we are at the Crown Grill. Again, it is specialty. It's $45 per person unless you have the premier package.
Yeah, it has an impressive little area. You walk through a little vestibule of wine,
Mm-hmm.
and you walk out and all the way over to anything from ocean view seats to cozy little corners. And we had a wonderful meal here at the Crown Grill.
So you can get anything from steak to seafood to lamb, all of that sort of thing. There is one small vegetarian option on the menu that Mr. Canuck tried, but it was almost more like an appetizer than it was a main, in our opinion, from looking at it. And course, you having it.
Yeah, it was just a couple of vegetables covered with a little bit of cheese. It really wasn't a meal that would fill you up by any means, but they're trying.
Yeah, we've been asking for years for them to put a vegetarian option in here.
Just aft of the Crown Grill is this monstrous ship model of the Sun Princess. I often see people walking by here and just checking this thing out from one end to the other. Very detailed. Okay, we are moving aft still on deck 7, and we come to one of the main dining rooms, which is the Eclipse dining room.
Yes.
This is the dining room that is for set dining times. So the Sun Princess has 2 main dining rooms at the aft of the ship. There's this one here on deck 7 and down below. And here you can have usually one of these dining rooms open for breakfast or lunch on a sea day. Breakfast every day, and then obviously a dinner every single night. And some are for set seating. Some you can walk up and you can do reserved or non-reserved lines. We do find that if you don't have reservations though, there's often long lines to get into the dining rooms.
There is, for sure.
And yeah, we've had one meal here for formal night, and we've had a lunch here as well. We were embarking on the ship. And yeah, it's all your typical wonderful princess service.
Yes.
And lots of menu choices available. Okay, we have made it all the way aft on deck 8 now, and back here is the Lakeview Terrace.
Yes, it is a beautiful spot here. There is a pool with a couple of hot tubs. It's kind of a small spot, hidden away, little secret place, I will say.
Exactly, it's got the infinity pool where it's overlooking the aft of the ship, and it's actually from, if you're outside the ship looking in, you can see people in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And it's got some loungers all around here, and it's kind of a secret spot, a little tricky to get to on the ship.
It is.
Okay, you move a little bit farther forward here on deck 8, and you find the Sanctuary Restaurant.
Yes, so this is a restaurant that's exclusive for people that are staying in specific cabins that have that perk, so suites and Sanctuary collection guests.
Okay, moving forward on deck 8, there is another elevator bank.
All right, so there are 3 banks of elevators, forward, mid, and aft on this Sun ship. They are the smart elevators, so you check where you want to go, and you just press that button. So if you want to go to, say, deck 11, you press it for 1 person with you. That's only if you want 1 person. If you want more people, like you and your husband, you need to press it twice. If you're traveling with a group of 8 people, press it 8 times. That way the elevator knows how many people it's getting in the elevator and it doesn't get overcrowded.
Moving further forward on deck 8, on the starboard side of the ship, we have some shops. Mixed in with the shops, we do have some specialty dining. This is our first specialty dining venue here.
This is Sabatini's.
Sabatini's.
Yes, it is your Italian fare dining, specialty dining.
Yes, you want fresh made pasta. You can have some tasty cuts of red meat as well here.
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful soups, salads, and of course a special wine to kind of dress it all up. So yeah, we've always enjoyed Sabatini's. Lots of different options. Doesn't matter whether you like red meat, you like seafood, you like pasta, even you like vegetables. You're gonna find something here.
Yeah, there is. It's probably a very large, one of the largest menus in specialty dining, in my opinion. So there's lots to choose from. So everybody can get something they like.
And if you don't have any packages, then the cost to eat here is $45 per person. And deck 8 does go from one end of the ship to the other. And the Shops of Princess are here. And it's kind of interesting because the floor is actually sloped down and away. It's not just one big level deck, which is a little bit different than we've seen in other cruise ships, that there's a little bit of contouring to these decks that go from one end to the other. Moving forward of the shops, you come back into the piazza here on deck 8. Here on deck 8, when you come out from the Shops of Princess, there's a little area that sells accessories for your medallions.
There is.
And then past that, it's Lakota Ocean.
So this is a new venue for Princess. This is your sushi restaurant. It is a specialty restaurant also.
Yes, fresh made sushi, and there's lots of seating here available with a beautiful view at the side of the ship.
The great location.
And the cost for someone to eat here, if you don't have a package, is $45 a person.
It is.
And from here on deck 8, you're still right around the piazza. So you're at the kind of the second level of the piazza.
Yes.
And there's more seating up here as well, just as there is up on deck 9. There's also seating right here. Okay, we're still on deck 8 here. We are now on the port side of the piazza.
Yes, and this is where you're going to find crooners. It is your piano bar, but it's also a bar that's open most sea days throughout the day for a drink, overlooking the beautiful ocean views here. There's lovely windows so you can sit by and watch the seas go by.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a change of this venue for other Princess ships that has more kind of an, I would say, an open concept. Usually it's kind of a more closed-in space, but they've kind of opened it up to the piazza. And there's lots of wide open seating, so you don't feel like you're squeezed in. And all your favorite cocktails are also here at the Crooner's Bar, which is kind of a nice little cozy area tucked off away from the piazza. Okay, so that was the casino that's on board here on Deck 8.
Yes.
It is a smoking allowed casino.
Yeah, it is.
So it is very smoky, we have found. Even though we haven't seen a lot of people smoking, the overall odor and stench is definitely that of smoke.
Yes, and it will waft into parts of the piazza depending on where you're sitting. So you can actually smell the cigarette smoke way outside of the casino, in my opinion.
Yeah, unfortunate. We've heard that it's a rather large casino. We don't have big casino people, but people we're traveling with have mentioned that it is one of the larger ones that's on Princess ships. So there's lots of machines and lots of things to do in the casino. Just unfortunate that it is still a smoking venue and so many ships are going to non-smoking casinos. We are here at the main theater now. Princess now calls it the Princess Arena.
Yes, and it is definitely a new setup for Princess and their theater. It is one of the round circular stages. And so it's an interesting setup, to be quite honest. First of all, it's smaller than what I would have ever predicted a ship this size would have. So if you want to see a show, like we've heard reports of people lining up for like an hour or so before the show. So it's difficult to get in. We did manage to get in for one show, but again, there's only a specific few seats that really have a great sight line to the show. So off to the side, you miss a lot of it, and there's a lot of side seating in this theater, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the seating arrangement is in a circular pattern that is around the circular stage that is in the middle. I found the seats extremely tight together, really uncomfortable sitting next to people.
Yes.
And I would describe it as saying that everybody has an okay view, but nobody has a great view. So instead of having those 10% of seats that aren't great sight lines to the main stage, you've got everybody just kind of okay sight lines. We felt like we watched the show from the side the whole time when we sat in the theater.
Yeah, I definitely saw more backs and sides than I did anything at the beginning of it, so it was a little disappointing for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little small for this ship, and kind of a little odd, especially considering Princess has had great success in the past with fabulous shows, fabulous theaters. It feels like it's a bit of a downgrade.
Yeah, this definitely didn't feel like the Princess production shows that we have always loved over the years.
Okay, here we are on Deck 9 now, and half of this floor is staterooms.
Yes, the very forward part is all staterooms. We're midship right now, and we are at the shore excursion desk and also photo studio. It's sort of a double duty. There's a bunch of tablets there where you can check your photos, and then there's also staff at these beautiful desks where you can book shore excursions.
So once you move past the excursions and the photos area here around the piazza, the next thing you come across is Alfredo's Pizzeria.
So Alfredo's is one of the casual dining venues that you can have lunch at or dinner at, and it's included in the Princess Plus and Premier packages.
Yeah, with the Premier package, you can have unlimited Alfredos, and I believe you can have it twice if you have the Plus package on a 7-day cruise.
Any two casual dinings twice, yes.
And the pizza is delicious here. They also have a huge calzone. Check that out. And they have a few desserts and appetizers to go with that. And we've not found this venue very busy, actually. Every time we've come here, there's been lots of seating available, and there's been no lineups. So
that's true.
Deck 9 is also the top level of the piazza, the open space here in the middle of the Sun Princess.
Yeah, right now they're doing some Zumba down there. They use this area for everything from live music to games to Zumba, exercise classes, you name it. This is the centerpiece of this ship, the hub. Everything is always packed here.
And some of the changes with the piazza here on Sun Princess compared to other Princess ships is there's actually seating around it now. Definitely there's more lighting, there's a big screen as well that you can see in the background. And it is a hub, but it doesn't hold the number of people that usually are here for an event, so it's usually very, 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 very busy.
Often difficult to get a seat here, even though there is more seating here than we've seen on most Princess ships. But it just draws so many people.
Okay, we're moving a little bit farther starboard side around the piazza here. The next thing you come to is the International Cafe.
Yeah, so this is where you're going to get all your specialty coffee, but they also have snacks here throughout the day, breakfast items in the morning, sandwiches, stuff like that. And so it's and it's all included in your fare. Your specialty coffees are not unless you have some sort of package, but the food is all included.
Yeah, and the food selections are a little bit different on normal Princess ships. I would say there's a couple of things missing that you might normally be used to, but there's also a couple extra new things as well.
It's true.
Okay, you move all the way starboard here at the Piazza on deck 9, and you find the future cruise area.
Yes, and it's a pretty hot-and-lean place today, so a lot of people must be booking their next cruise while on board Princess.
Yeah,
you often will get onboard perks if you do that, like onboard credits for a cruise if you book it while you're on a ship.
Yeah, it's a pretty casual space. Usually you see kind of the formality and have to go into a closed room and negotiate that future cruise. Just kind of people sitting around with tablets and exploring things. They got an interactive little dome that you can play with and see all the different destinations and ships. So yeah, it's kind of different.
So as you make your way further to the aft, you're going to come to what they're calling the eatery, which is essentially their buffet.
And this buffet I found smaller than just about every other buffet on a Princess ship.
Yeah, even though it's a larger ship, the buffet definitely is smaller. What I like about it personally is that the staff serve you, so there's no passengers touching food and putting it back or all of that stuff that scares me about buffets. So for me, I actually like the way they're doing this buffet, but there's some pluses and minuses to it.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried that doing it this way might slow down service. You can't just run up and grab something, but they have a lot of staff that are serving you as soon as you walk up to the counter, so that is a positive for sure.
Yeah, probably the negative is they overserve you. I have to keep saying less.
Yeah, and it's your typical buffet. They have all the usual things that are up there. Then there's 2 different sides to it as well. And the only thing that's kind of odd for me is the location. It is down on deck 9 here instead of up on the Lido deck where you typically find a buffet. Okay, we're still at the buffet or the eatery, but we're outside.
We're at the alfresco section of the dining room or of the buffet dining room. There's tables and chairs to the right of me. There's all these nice, comfy, soft, cushiony, and cocktail tables on the other side. It's a great little extra outdoor space.
Yeah, there always seems to be seats available out here, so I don't know if it's a kind of a hidden secret or it's just kind of a nice way to spread out the crowds.
It is.
If you move a little bit farther aft on the starboard side, you'll also find the slice.
Yeah, so you can grab a slice of pizza here. There's also a full bar right beside it, so you can get anything from soft drinks to mixed drinks, whatever you want. So this is a beautiful area.
Yeah, this is like, I think, one of 3 different places on the ship that you can find pizza. Before we leave the buffet area, I just want to point out one more thing is that when you are sitting down at the tables here at the buffet, that they do have drink service. They come to your table and there's always water available. You can ask for glasses. They'll also bring you any other type of beverage that you want as you're enjoying the buffet. We are all the way aft on deck 9.
And we are at a new venue that Princess has introduced on this Sun ship, and it's called Americana Diner.
Yes, and this is kind of your American style food. You can get everything from ribs to fish and chips to burgers to French fries to even tater tots.
And if you're one that likes to sleep in on a sea day and you've missed the buffet breakfast or the dining room breakfast, then this venue serves all day breakfast. They open at 11 a.m. and then you can have breakfast at that point or all through the evening if you want.
Yeah, and do check opening times because there was a couple of days that we tried to come here and open after. I think it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There was a lineup. So if you're going to be coming here, plan to possibly be in line if you're coming right when it opens.
Right.
Okay, we are now up on deck 17 because between decks 10 and 16, I guess there's no deck 13. It's all staterooms and some sanctuary rooms as well.
So we are all the way forward at the very bow of the ship, and this is where you're going to find the dome.
Yeah, you're also going to find the sea view bar, which is right beside us here.
Yeah.
There's also a seating area just beyond that. It's kind of a unique area. It's got glass over top, so it's not too windy, although it still has a bit of a breeze. But it's kind of unique in the fact that it actually is right on top of the bridge. If you look at the ship from outside in, you see this where everybody is sitting out on loungers on top of the bridge.
It's very nicely designed, in my opinion. They have sort of like stadium seating where it goes down different levels, so you're not all crowded in, and you kind of have your own space, which is very nice.
Yep, and up here there is also a pool and 2 hot tubs. The pool is connected to the dome as well. So let's go inside and show you the dome now. Here we are in the dome.
We are. It is a beautiful looking venue. In the daytime, they do yoga classes here in the morning, and then there's lots of comfy chairs that you can just sit down and relax and read a book, go for a swim, whatever you like. It is air conditioned in here. It's fully closed in with the exception of the swim. The pool comes from in here to the outside section. So you're sort of inside and outside all of while being in the pool.
Yeah, since the sun is coming in here all the time, it is, even though it's air conditioned, it's not like air conditioned like inside the ship. It's kind of halfway between outside and inside. This makes it a little more comfortable, a little more protected, no wind. And the pool is kind of a unique feature. You can swim from inside to outside, and we've enjoyed this pool. At port days, it was really comfortable. Sea days, it rocks quite a bit. There's a few waves bouncing back and forth, throwing you around. But it's an interesting space. This dome is lots of tiered seating here. Very comfortable chairs, probably more comfortable I've ever seen anywhere around a pool area. Interesting little art water features that are kind of cool. I'll show you a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Very pretty here.
The only thing is when there is a show going on here, I've heard that they have problems with very long lines. We've heard of people 1 to 2 hours standing in line to get into this venue when there is a show.
Yeah.
We are at the main pool deck areas here on the Lido deck, deck 17. And there are 2 main pools here and a lot of people.
And there's also 2 hot tubs here, but yes, it's a pretty popular spot, as you can see behind us. Up here, you're also going to find your traditional burger place. They've gone away with Salty Dog. It's not called that on this ship, but it is a hamburger hot dog joint. You also have a place where you can get tacos and shawarma.
Yep. You can also right next to that is a sliced pizza location as well.
Right.
On the other side, there is the burger place you mentioned. Is also around the corner from there. There's also a salad area that you can get, just Lido Greens it's called.
And just right behind where we're filming right now, you're going to find where you can get your special desserts, especially if you have that premium or plus package.
And on the other side, there's also a bar here for the pool deck area. So once you come aft of the pool deck area, usually you would find the buffet on Princess, but that's down on deck 9. So there's cabins here. And as we're walking to the aft, this gives a good example of what the hallways are like for where the decks that have staterooms. One thing we have found on the Sun Princess is that the hallways for the cabins are very narrow.
They are.
If you run into someone who's got a mobility scooter or even just 2 people walking side by side, it can be a challenge just to get through the hallways in certain spots. And on the floors, there's also a laundromat. Hey, this is an example of the laundromat.
So they only have 1 iron in here. I'm used to, like on the Enchanted, there's 3 or 4 irons. So I have had to line up multiple times every time we try to iron. So now I've got it in my mind to iron in the morning before anybody else thinks about it.
There you go. There's your laundromats that are available on every floor. If you walk all the way through the cabins from the pool deck to the aft of the ship, there's one more venue to check out. We're going to show you that next. We are all the way aft now on deck 17. We are at the restaurant called Love by Brito.
That's right. And it is a specialty, well, it's even more than a specialty.
High-end specialty dining experience, they call it.
$79 a person, I believe.
It's kind of a culinary art fusion between Romero Brito and Rudy Soderman.
Yes.
And we've heard some good things, but we hadn't had a chance to get here. And it's also used, obviously, for special events.
Yeah, it's currently set up right now for a wedding.
Yes, and it's a stunning view of the wake from up here at Love by Brito. So
it is, I have to say, a fabulous spot to get married. Yeah, it's very impressive here.
Okay, located at the very aft here is also a secret elevator. Not a lot of people use this. It is a glassed-in elevator with a beautiful view of the back of the ship.
Oh, it is on fire in here, guys.
It is hot. There you go. There's the view from the glassed-in elevator. And we've made it up here to deck 18 aft, and this is where you will find the sanctuary.
So unless you're staying in a specific cabin, you can't, this isn't open access for anybody.
Yes, in other Princess ships, you can pay for a pass to get into the sanctuary or rent a cabana, that type of thing. You don't have that option on the Sun Princess. You have to be staying in a sanctuary type of suite to have access to the area specifically.
That's right.
Well, we did get inside. We did film a little bit of this. We'll show you a little bit around the sanctuary. We're now at deck 18 midship.
We are. And up here, you're going to find the Lotus Spa Hair and Salon. It's a little separated from the actual spa services. But up here, you can get your hair done. The barber shop is here. And also the fitness area. This is the workout area.
Yeah, there's a gym up here as well as a wellness center. It looks like they have classes for different types of healthcare type of things.
They're doing a yoga class right now as we're filming.
There you go. So that's what you find up here in deck 18. You also can get outside from up here. So let's show you a little bit of outside. So that was a walkthrough of deck 18. It is kind of lounger city for sure.
Yes, it is. Lots of sun.
Sun, hot tub.
A little bit of shade.
Yeah, you have to fight to find the shade. Depends on where the sun is, and casting a shadow across your ship is your best bet for finding shade. But and also you're right up next to the pool deck where everything's going on too, and you can move a little bit farther back, but it's pretty noisy until you get farther forward towards the dome there. And there's also, if you keep on walking a little farther forward, that there's an entrance to the dome, I think. So that's the ship tour of the Sun Princess, and we are back in our cabin now.
We are. Nice, cool, air conditioned. The air conditioning in our cabin works fabulous, I have to say.
It sure does. And people always want about stuff that you can't see in the ship tour, as far as stuff that you learn about when you're just living aboard a ship for a week. And a few different things stand out to me to kind of wrap up the ship tour. One is that I find the ship very tipsy-turvy, that even in calm seas, it's not a very stable riding boat. So it's caused my stomach to even kind of jump a little bit here and there with some seasickness.
Yeah, we've definitely felt this ship move more than any other cruise ships we've been on calm days.
Yeah, and other people, they also want to know about crowds, especially being the largest ship in the Princess fleet now. How does it handle the crowds? And we find there's times when the crowds are a little chaotic. We showed you the elevator banks. The elevator banks are...
They've been working well, really well. Probably our biggest surprise. We expected that to cause a lot of congestion, and the elevators have been working seamlessly.
However, the elevators are also kind of in what I would call as passageways to different venues. So you're going to get from A to B, but you have to pass through the elevator banks, which is different than the other Princess ships. And that's causing a lot of congestion around the elevators because people are either trying to get on an elevator or go through the area.
Definitely if you're coming out of, like, for instance, the Princess Arena, that's a very bottlenecked area.
Yeah, but that's just a little bit of a snippet of kind of some of the things we've noticed aboard that you can't see in a ship tour. We are going to be doing a video entirely on what we loved and things we didn't love about the Sun Princess, so check out our channel, watch for that. Yeah,
and if you found that the ship tour gave you some added value, please like the channel, subscribe, all that great things. It helps us out a lot.
For sure. If you want to see more detail about the Sun Princess and see what it was like day by day, we do have daily vlogs that are coming out that will show you every single day we had on board and all the little nuances and details that we found in and around the ship as we explored the Caribbean for 7 days. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.
And bye for now.